So, yes. So, hello, everyone, and welcome to Time Machine Organization's second webinar. As last week or last Monday, we had our first try, and it was quite successful, as we thought. So we continue today with another topic, another one of the Time Machine Organization's priority areas, which is the project scouting service and services to third parties. And today we will have presenters. That is Thomas Aigner, our vice president, or one of our vice presidents, and project scouting service main leader and head of the team, Sander Münster. We will follow the principle of the last webinar. We will have some presentations of the two mentioned speakers in the beginning. And in the second part, we have the questions and answer section. But all of you are invited to post your questions and comments anytime during our presentations, because we will collect the questions and try to ask them to answer them in the end. So don't hesitate, ask anytime you feel like it, and don't wait with all the questions to the end of the session. This event will also be recorded, and you can review it, of course, then anytime you like, and we will share the post and also the presentations that you will see, and everything on our website and on social media channels. Oh, well, that was all for now. So I won't let you wait any longer, and we will start with a presentation by Thomas Aigner. So wait a second, I would just have the put the right image on so that Thomas will see Thomas in all his beauty. Yeah. So here we go. Your turn, Thomas.
Thank you very much. Presentation is said too much. I just want to give
Thomas, you're muted. Yeah. Now you're back on. Maybe let's start again. Would you share your screen again?
Yeah.
Some technical issues, but
sorry.
No problem.
So.
All right.
Okay, that's it. Okay, once more. A very warm welcome from my side on behalf of the Time Machine organization. It's a pleasure for me to start that second webinar today dealing with our project scouting services. For those of you who are not familiar yet with the Time Machine organization, just a brief introduction what the Time Machine organization is and what we are aiming for. The Time Machine organization is a unique alliance. It's some kind of huge network with more than 600 institutions and more than 6,000 experts all over Europe in various fields. So this means we have public authorities among our members. We have members from the academic field, from archives, libraries, museum, industry, civil society, associations, and many, many more. So we think that's really a huge treasure that we should use in order to create technological breakthroughs and also to change the game in the way how we can create the big data of the past. The Time Machine organization was born out of an initiative aiming for large-scale funding within the European FED flagship program. And we were quite successful in that program, despite the fact that the billion was not granted at the end. But I think the main result is that after that aim to receive the FED flagship, now we have that huge organization in the form of the Time Machine organization. And we've created a really comprehensive program how to make the big data of the past in Europe happen. And that program consists of various pillars. So this means a huge program, what should be done within science and technology, what should be done in order to create infrastructures among institutions and people, but also in terms of technological infrastructure, and also what is needed to exploit the big data of the past. And one of the major challenges is how can we find the money to realize that program? And so the project scouting services is really a core field of Time Machine organization, how we can implement that program, but also how can we help our members to find partners for the project and also to find the money for the project. So this means with a membership inside the Time Machine organization, we want to create an added value for our members by raising new projects, new expertise, new ideas, but also money they wouldn't have gained otherwise within our project scouting services. And I'm very, very happy that in Jena we have one department of the Time Machine organization led by Professor Sander Münster with very, very huge enthusiasm and very much energy in order to build up the project scouting services. And so we warmly welcome, and I would like to give the floor to Sander now.
So many thanks also for this nice introduction, Thomas. And start, just a quick question. I hope you can hear and see me well. It seems so. So also welcome from my side to this webinar, and I'm really happy to present you about one of the services of the TMO, the Project Scouting Service. So my name is Sander Münster, and as my colleague already introduced to you, so I'm at one hand the secretary of the Time Machine organization, but also involved in the project scouting service with providing a strategy for it. And today we are happy to tell you about who we are, what we do, and especially what you can expect from our services as Project Scout. Just to recap a little bit, in case you would have any questions, please be most invited to ask them either now during our presentation or also in the aftermath, and we will do our best to answer them either in the event or given to the time constraint, maybe also after the event. So let's start with my presentation about project scouting. As project scouts, we are a specialized team on EU funding schemes, mainly on research and innovation related funding programs. Our services we can group into four main strands. So first of all, we aim to scan the funding opportunities in that field of digitization and cultural heritage across the EU funding schemes. As our second type of services, we aim to help you to identify the right type of program and funding opportunity that would fit best to what you or your organization is having in mind, is requiring, and to support you in building your strategy for proposal preparations and call engagements. As a third type, we aim to support you in identifying partners, collaborators for your project idea or consortium. And there's a fourth case. That means that we also manage the processes where the TMO itself as organization is directly involved into consortia or is leading consortia. I will tell you a little bit more about all four types of services during the next slides. Above all, there is a complementary manner to national, regional support services available. So we are striving to help you in a best way to having access to funding and finding fitting and matching service offers in order to providing best proposals. So who we are. As Project Scouts, we are a team of 4 people. We became operational not far ago. As a team, we started in February 2020, and since then we have implemented and tested some services and workflows to help our members to gain access to EU funding. At the moment, we have supported around 40 proposals so far. 12 of them were successful yet and granted around 18.5 million euro, and another 8 proposals are currently under review. As another important task, we also provide consultancy to funding bodies across Europe to feed their funding priorities and perspectives revolving around the TMO's intervention areas, so mainly digitization and cultural heritage. In this slide, I would like to show you a little bit what is the additional value added by the project scouting structure and how the project scouts are anchored or aligned with extant support mechanisms. So as you know, there are many service providers are active on that field on EU-related funding, so national contact points, for instance, TTOs, but also project scouting and project support services or business development units on organizational levels in the universities, for instance. For the case of Horizon Europe, NCPs are serving to the researchers in their countries, and each of these NCPs is responsible for usually for one or several of the sub-programs of the EU FPs. Digitization and cultural heritage is one of the topics in their priorities, but project support officers and business developers serve for individual organizations are also adding to this by providing organization-wide support. We as TMO Project Scouts aim to offer a more comprehensive and sector-specific knowledge and support. We aim to work across programs, so let them be Horizon Europe or Erasmus Plus or Digital Europe or whatever, and also across our members' organizations from different member states. So we are not bounded per program nor per country. Also, we scan all relevant EU funding schemes to gather and translate digitization and cultural heritage related opportunities in a digestible way to the TMO community. So let's have a look on what we do offer in detail. As told, we aim to scan the framework programs and specifically Horizon Europe in order to retrieve information about relevant funding schemes and to diagnose funding opportunities and disseminate them to you in a timely manner. We do and continue this exercise even more intensively once the new EU funding scheme from 2021 onwards, and especially Horizon Europe, will have released their first work programs. You will get the information about these cultural heritage and digitization related funding opportunities as info packs. So you may have mentioned the mailings or the inclusion also in the Time Machine newsletters. As a second type of services, we aim to provide you an agile service to assist you in focusing on the right type of funding and build a strategy for selected calls to properly access them. How do we do this? At the one hand, we support our members to analyze and assess the possible calls for proposals against their ideas, research and innovation priorities, networks objectives, and so on. Secondly, we help our members to identify the focus areas in the calls in comparison to their strengths. Where are you good? What are your specific and unique selling points in comparison to these calls? Also, it's important to learn about which skills do you have and what is required from additional partners to involve there. And what is the type of action and what does this mean for partnering and also an impact aspect? Finally, it's a question about what is the portfolio of the project and what are potential collaborators and competitors, and what are also success factors you could bring into such a proposal from your organizational point of view. In short, we aim to provide you the support you may require to positioning yourself with respect to the call requirements. And later, based on these assessments, we aim to help you to reach a decision and to build your agenda for reaching this specific call. What could be done for networking, to reach collaborators, to assess and scout similar projects, but also to find partners with complementary skills and, of course, also additional support. That brings me directly to a third area of intervention. This is about to offer some tailored support for networking and finding partners for your proposals. As project scouts, we aim to organize brokerage events and workshops to help you to get in touch with potential collaborators. At the moment, we are planning to build an online database and creating some TMO member profiles, for instance, with regards to priorities, to products, to services, and already achieved projects or done projects. And we believe that by this database, we could, at the one hand, better enable and strengthen the connection amongst the TMO members and increase their visibility, but also to learn in turn more about our partners and to find partners with complementary, with matching skills for specific proposals. What we also do is that we regularly disseminate partnering events at various levels to our members and provide invitations and so on to you as Time Machine members to those kind of events. And finally, we are doing some targeted mapping exercises based on your targeted calls to offer you potential partners for your specific proposal. And there's a fourth area I would like to shortly highlight on. And as project scouts, we are also manage the process for TMO's engagement to consortia of TMO's members, but also initiated by the TMO itself. For our members consortia, we could either support via an LOS or be a partner in the consortium, or in other cases, as mentioned, also lead a consortium in cooperation with TMO members. One important prerequisite is that those activities are confirmed or aligned with the TMO's principles, the TMO's vision, but also the TMO's scope of activities. Let's have a look on this case of providing a letter of support. If TMO does this, it means the TMO offers to you as a project consortium to use free of charge TM services. So for instance, the project presentation on the TM platform, the inclusion of the project in the TM portfolio, or also the use of public time machine tools and other services. In the second case, the TMO is involved as a partner in consortia directly. And that means that we are having a role, for instance, to manage the project's dissemination or the community brokerage and endorsement, or also having a role in ensuring the project sustainability in securing or via integrating the tools deriving from this project into a TMO ecosystem after the project. Finally, TMO may coordinate proposals. We are doing this only for calls which are of central interest to the time machine, and of course in these cases we are collaborating with our members too. So let me briefly sum up what you can expect from the project scouts and the project scouting service. We are happy to provide you the most accurate and timely information on EU funding opportunities across various programs. Let them be Horizon Europe, Digital Europe, Creative Europe, Erasmus, and so on and so on. Together with you, we can assess which funding opportunities fit to your research and innovation priorities, objectives, and project ideas, and how you can work on your targeted calls, which organization you can cooperate with, and of course, maybe how you can involve the TMO as organization into your consortium. We also aim to provide tailored support in organizing and participating in events, info days, trainings, webinars, brokerage events, partnering platforms, and so on, in order to providing opportunity to connect to ideas and to connect to potential partners. And after having provided you this kind of short introduction, of course, I would be happy to share with you some testimonial videos we have received from our members, as well as also by those who are working with us in the project scouting team.
Hello, my name is Cora, or Korelka Golub. I'm a professor at Linnaeus University in Sweden, and I'm also leading the DIMPA project, Digital Methods Platform for Arts and Humanities, which was just started in September 2020. This is a 3-year project funded by the European Union Erasmus Plus program, Strategic Partnerships more concretely. And it is a collaboration with Aarhus University, University of Amsterdam, La Rochelle, Cyprus, and Porto. we have relevant supporting partners, the iSchools organization, Daria EU, which provides the platform for our open educational resources that we aim to develop, Europeana, Amsterdam Time Machine Europe, National Library of France, and EU Connexus European University for smart urban coastal sustainability. So this is a 3-year project where at the very start, we aim to aggregate, connect, and make widely available novel open educational resources on selected digital methods within the arts and humanities. We aim to apply them to interdisciplinary contexts where Time Machine and its data are certainly a big possibility. With that, we would like to foster novel creative learning experiences by taking data from the past into future stories. And so far, Time Machine has kindly supported us by providing the data and discussions on how we can reuse what they are developing and how we can create synergies. We hope to do a lot more throughout the 3-year project. And with this, I would like to thank for the existing support.
Many thanks, Cora, and let's now switch to our colleague Ous.
From the project scouting services. The funding aspect is essential to science. Therefore, engagement with the funding agencies is a crucial task for us. The funding bodies shape the progress of science by defining new orientations. That is in accordance with the ever-changing needs of the society. We, as research actors, must follow them carefully to remain relevant with the broader political context. However, this interaction is not unilateral. These agencies stand at the nexus between science and policymaking. Therefore, research and development actors also have the chance to influence decision-making by providing it with inputs regarding the trends in science. The Time Machine Project Scouting Service is in close contact with the funding agencies of various levels. In addition to receiving first-hand information about the funding opportunities, our goal is to represent the importance of Time Machine activities. And this is not limited with the central structure, but it also consists of the activities of our broader community. In service of the Time Machine organization, we are aware of our responsibilities, and we also very much look forward to our members' inputs. Please do not hesitate to communicate your plans or ongoing activities in your regions that are relevant to Time Machine goals. This way, we will be better able to articulate the place of Time Machine to the policymaking bodies and potentially influence funding trends and instruments in favor of our shared goal of digitization of cultural heritage.
Many thanks, Ous. And now let's switch to a third example by Andreas Meyer.
The project scouting team was a great support for our project. They helped us developing strategies to create sustainable services from our project ideas, such that the developments of the project will be available to other researchers even after the end of the project. This way, novel developments can be maintained within the Time Machine ecosystem in a sustainable fashion. I deem this as an important aspect of Time Machine with respect to implementing European research according to the FAIR principle: findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. The Time Machine organization made our proposal stronger and enabled a perspective for the future of our research. Unfortunately, we did not get funded in the first shot. However, Time Machine continues to support our European project team to be successful in the next call.
Let me provide two more examples, maybe at the one hand about partnering events and matchmaking events. So together with the state of Thuringia in Germany, we have organized an event in June this year with the main purpose to inform about European funding programs, but also about the ways to assess or to access them and to link them to regional activities. And we were really happy to have opportunity to not doing this on our own as Time Machine organization, but to connect and get in direct touch with some of the major important protagonists of the European Union's access or way to digital heritage. So for instance, MEP Ehler, who is in charge of the ITRE Commission of the European Parliament, also Thuringian Minister of Culture, Benjamin Immanuel Hoff, and also participants or officers from several units of the European Commission. And another example, as I told you about, is of course how to connecting to funding bodies. Time Machine is not only retrieving information about these funding opportunities, but also we are in close contact with the funding agencies on various levels. And one example for doing this is to frequently providing exposures for those funding bodies. And the one I showed to you here as an example was queried by a large national foundation in order to sharpen their understanding of European R&I trends and shape their core topics in line with EU agenda and priorities, and making it very much fitting and matching to the needs of a digital cultural heritage community. So I hope very much to have provided you some ideas and maybe also some wishes about for what to use the project scouting service. And we are really looking forward to getting in touch to you and to discussing with you about your project, your ideas, and how we could serve you. And we are also looking forward to your questions now and to coming into lively discussion now. Thank you for your attention so far.
So thank you, Sander and Thomas. Let's see, you all had the time to post your questions. We don't really. So no real questions came. Can a cultural association be part of the community of the Time Machine organization? That would be a yes, I would say. I think we do have associations already being part of the Time Machine organization, or at least we arranged some partner activities. Or can Thomas or Sander give more information on that?
Yes, there is no doubt. So any institution dealing with the topics of our organization or following our aims can be part of the Time Machine organization. It can be a private person, it can be any legal entity, and an association is a legal entity.
So, yeah, thanks, Thomas. So are there other questions? Are these services available to all members or only the paying levels? Actually, that depends. I would give that question to Sander.
Yes, with pleasure. And I see, of course, there is much discussion about the question, who can take benefit out of those services? So, of course, we have to distinguish a little bit on what are these services offered to, say, Time Machine associate members, regular members, founding members. The good news in advance, or at first the good news, the information about funding schemes, about funding opportunities, specifically focused and dedicated to cultural heritage and digitization. This is a service which is open for everyone. We inform all Time Machine members, independent from their level of membership, about these opportunities. Where we of course have to distinguish a little bit is if we are doing some more tailored services for our members. So Time Machine regular and founding members are eligible without any constraints to taking part or to taking benefits out of the matchmaking services and on from these specific services and tailored services done per proposal. So if you come with your proposal and you are a Time Machine and founding members, this is something where we would be happy to deal with you and to work on your proposal together.
Then we've got another question that is, what do you guys do if two more projects would be a great fit for one funding program? How do you avoid being in competition with other projects that are of the TMO, part of the TMO?
So that's a really important question, and of course we have, as Time Machine Project Scouts, spent, I would say, much discussions about and much time about to find schemes to deal with this. So for usual, Time Machine organization is distinguishing between three different types of involvement. So first of all, the level of the letter of support level is something which is open to every Time Machine member, and this is also something which is offered to multiple consortia. Secondly, in calls which are having some concurrent consortia from Time Machine members, Time Machine is providing same services and same involvement to all of those consortia. And we have specific cases which are, I would say, of central interest for the Time Machine organization. In that case, the Time Machine organization is mandating only one specific consortium, and in most cases this is one which is directly led by the Time Machine organization, or where one specific organization is mandating to doing this. So that's maybe the level of involvements. There's a second point. The question is, how do we avoid or how do we ensure that there is no overspill of information and disclosure and so on? As we are a team of 4 people in the project scouting service, our usual workflow is to assign one person, one specific person as key account manager to each of those consortia. And of course, we are providing NDA agreements in case it would be required, and of course, not providing any or not doing any spillover of information between these consortia.
Thank you, Sander. We have another question. Where was it? The services, yeah. How to contact you? That should be easy. Either you just use the go on our website, and we've got a section for the project scouting service, and contact them via email. I think it's projectscouting@timemachine.eu, the general email address. Then we have a question, can we just easily post what we do offer our services for other projects, and ask what tools are we are still looking for to implement in our services?
Mm-hmm. Okay. You may excuse, I'm just reading this question again. Caroline, may you please repeat?
Yes, can we just easily post what we do, offer our services for other projects, and ask what tools we are still looking for to implement in our services?
I see it. So many thanks to Alexander for this question. It's an important one. And exactly that is our idea with this, I would say, shortly mentioned portal we have in mind. So to provide something like a marketplace where you can share your competencies, your tools, your projects, and maybe your specific skills, and make it visible for our Time Machine members. And vice versa, of course, you can to be found by our members in order of if they are searching for specific competencies and so on. So this is something we do not have realized now, but of course this is in our priority list as one of the next priorities.
All right. Then Gustavo is asking, is it possible to search fund as an organization for educational projects to the society, or educational project to the society, and not only as an academic project? An educational project would be, of course, no. Wait.
Yeah, also many thanks to Gustavo. Important question. And you may remember, of course, we do not only focus on Horizon Europe. Of course, we are also having other programs in our scope, and we are, for instance, also following Erasmus Plus and cost actions and Marie Curie actions and so on, in order to providing I would say, a full scope of funding also in the educational field. And the same thing is also for other fields, so for instance, funding for creative programs via the Creative Europe funding scheme. So our idea is, of course, to cover the full scope of funding opportunities, of course, mainly in an EU level.
So another question I just see here is, how far do the TMO or the Project Scouting Service go in help writing proposals?
Good point. So, of course, we cannot write your proposal, and of course, we cannot support you as deep as, for instance, some paid services are doing this. So, for usual, our task is in finding some matching programs, in finding some project partners, and also to provide you with some information about what is needed, what is required from a strategical point of view in order to having the best and successful application here. What we are also doing is that we are maintaining connections to some specialized agencies which are supporting you specifically in the writing process. So, for instance, setting up setting up meetings with the consortia and so on, and also providing some, I would say, text corrections and supervision of the written proposals and so on. So that is something we are happy to support you with, to bring you in touch with these agencies.
That leads on to another question. When you say that we as TMO member, we will have insight, do you mean that you'll be, for instance, in direct contact with the EU policy officers? So that actually reflects your question, your answer before.
So that's indeed a question, an important question, and of course, we are maintaining as project scouting relations to policy offices and so on from various directorates. We are also trying to get some information and some ideas, of course, what is maybe of importance from our members. And of course, we may name you which directorate may be of relevance for one or another specific call. What we are not offering is to bring you in direct touch with one or another policy officer. But of course, we are happy to support you in providing some ideas and maybe reflections towards the calls.
If I may add something, I think one part of the great importance of Time Machine organization is that we are not just aiming at implementing projects, but we are also aiming at influencing the new politics on the funding of projects like for digitization. So we created within the last 2 years a Time Machine ambassador network across Europe, also to have direct contact to the people in the various member states that make the decisions together in Brussels in terms of funding policy. And in several cases, it has already worked quite well. And I think we also need to consider Time Machine organization as a very strong group of interest in order to foster the aims of Time Machine organization and our members in Brussels and all across Europe.
Maybe then, Thomas, you could answer another question, that is, how can we know a project fits with the Time Machine strategy?
I think it's quite easy. You just need to have a look at our website. There you can download the roadmap I've spoken about before. And there you can see our program for creating the big data of the past for Europe.
Thank you. So what else has come up? For example, having four people in your team only, yeah, for now. How will you deal with the high number of requests you will most probably receive?
Mm-hmm. So for sure, it's very much about prioritization. That's one point. And of course, we are having several synergies, of course, also in the team. So at the moment, I think we are luckily at the levels that we can properly handle all requests in a timely manner. So no need to hesitate to ask us.
Will do. Thomas, do you want to say something?
Maybe we can use one question also to demonstrate a concrete example. There is the question about the project in Upper Austria, where it's intended to centrate archives concerning salt, mainly out of the state archives from Upper Austria, to make accessible for science. The topic concerns all around salt. Could this be an interesting idea for TMO? I think it's a good question, because for us there are no uninteresting questions. So this means any topic that is in the past and that can be used for science research and also to make it digital is interesting for us. But it always depends on the local initiative, what is made out of it. So TMO is not the central institution that says that topic is good and that topic is not interesting. We are absolutely neutral, and we support anything that goes into the direction of making the cultural heritage of Europe digital.
Yes, thanks, Thomas. Maybe we can also answer this question then. Am I correct in understanding, based on last week's webinar, that these services are meant to assist projects with the goal of having them part of the local time machines? Will being part of a local time machine be mandatory for projects which obtain assistance?
So
no.
I think there's just to to support this answer, no, it's not necessary. So we are happy to support also projects without any connection to local time machines. And I think there is another important question. So given that the flagship has been abandoned as a funding scheme, do you think there will be a funding for a very large scale project in the future? So this is of course something which is related to that upcoming Horizon Europe scheme. And besides this kind of project funding amongst members, so these specific funding calls on this, of course there are various instruments for larger funding and larger projects, and specifically structured funding programs are already included into Horizon Europe, even if it will be no more fat flagship. So one of those interesting opportunities will be the so-called partnerships, and of course we are following this kind of partnerships and this kind of funding opportunities very carefully.
Perfect. Yeah. We've got one other question. In the Netherlands, we have a funding application on a water-related time machine on geotemporal access to all sources on water and water management. This is very TM, yeah. I think we can agree.
Sounds really interesting. So happy to come in touch with you and learn more about this.
So did we miss any questions? I think we answered most of them, all of them, I hope.
Did we answer the question, are these services available to all members or only the paying levels?
I think we had short answer, but in case, just to double check or to, again, there are several services, as for instance, the information about upcoming funding opportunities, and also I would say these communication to the TMO members, which is available to everyone, independent from a membership levels. Of course, all, I would say, more project-related activities, specifically the matchmaking and also these, I would say, the specific project support per project is available only to paid level of memberships.
Exactly. I think I found one other question. Oh, Thomas, sorry.
Oh, okay, just go ahead.
Okay. I found another question. What is your business and governance model? Could TMO be a competitor of the organizations it aims to help, according to your presentation? No. No, I can't imagine that. It's not in the intention of TMO to be to counter any other projects. We are here to help, and we are never competitors for anyone, for any project idea. We support and not contradict.
So maybe if I could add here, as mentioned before, of course we are spending much efforts also in being transparent in what we are doing in terms of project involvement. And one of those important information we are providing to all consortia is if TMO is being part either of concurring consortia or if TMO is leading a consortium. In this latter case, TMO would not be available to taking part in other consortia. And of course, this is something we are disclosing in advance and therefore informing all people before planning with us or sending us information about their planned activities. So that is, of course, something which is of great importance for us to being transparent in these points and not to being a competitor without having informed anyone. And of course, we are not competing in, or there has not been any case where we were competing to our members.
Exactly. I think it can be summarized in a way that our motto is complementarity instead of competition.
Yeah.
There's one last question.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not sure whether the one question was answered. Do we need to be a member of TMO to benefit from services? Of course, you need to be a member. So we have various levels of membership, from a free membership to a premium membership. So there is room for anybody with any needs and any capacity inside TMO. So if you want to benefit from our services, you should be part of the family.
If you wouldn't mind, there is one more important question. TMO is a Europe project at this time. Do you see it growing and becoming a global project? So, Thomas, maybe you would like to say some words about this?
Yeah, maybe. Thank you very much for your question, because this enables me to how shall I say it, to solve a misunderstanding, because I've seen in previously in the presentation, we saw also the term Time Machine Europe. There is no Time Machine Europe, there is simply a Time Machine organization. And we are aiming at being active worldwide and not only in Europe. And this is proven also by our members, because we do not have only members in Europe, we have members all over the world. So there are no boundaries for Time Machine. And we are sure that by the time it will become much more global than it is at the moment.
And I see two more questions here. So one is the need of a strong non-disclosure policy. Fully agree with you. And of course, for usual, we may act on this way of having an agreement together, but also having, as told before, this as a, I would say, by design feature in order to splitting this amongst different people and so on without avoiding any overlap on this. And there is the question for the project scouting address. So in case you would like to come in touch with the project scouting, please do not hesitate to contact projectscouting@timemachine.eu, as my colleague Zelda has already typed in the chat here.
So I checked the watch. It's turning 6 o'clock already. So I think we now had the chance to answer all the questions. So now it's my turn to say thank you to everyone, and thank you to our now 40 attendants. It was 50 at the best time. But of course now it's late afternoon already, and people are going going home from work and whatever, seeing the sun down already. So thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Sander. Thank you, Sander's team in the background, for sharing all your information, and also thanks to the testimonials. As we had with the last webinar, we will share, of course, the presentation and the video, as well as the testimonial videos. You will find them on our website, and we will promote them also via a newsletter and our social media channels. So you can still review everything as often as you like. So then, thank you. Bye-bye, and have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.